I've been thinking about this from the other day, and some persons that have an idea of who God is. And so like it's like over the years they have created through their experiences, of course, and even through culture, an idea of who God is. And so their God, or who they think God is, only speaks to them in a certain way, or how they see him. And it's hard sometimes to like introduce, like, there are other characteristics of God. I remember in my younger days, or in my Christian walk, earlier days, I had this idea of who God was, and I just saw him as a judge, not as, I didn't know him otherwise. He was just this God that was seated on the throne, and he was just there to judge me and to chastise me, and if and when if I fall in sin, then he is there to punish me, and that's it. And so the consequences of my actions, the things that happen along life's journey, whenever that happens, I just felt like, okay, that's it. He's there, and he has, this minute my name is in the good book, and another day, it can be erased. And that was just my idea of who God was, unreachable. I didn't have intimacy, right? I didn't know him as Abba. I didn't know him as a friend. I didn't know him as a lover of my soul. I didn't know him as someone who I can talk to and communicate with. And some persons have created this idea of God, and that now becomes like a stronghold, is an idea that resists the truth. It is a kind of thinking that is dug so deep, and it is so hard to break. But you have persons who have carved out this idea of who God is, and so it is so hard for them to see. And so they operate from that place. Their walk is according to that idea. And so it is so hard sometimes to see the breakthroughs, because we have this idea, or they have this idea of who God is, and God is only there to judge them, or God is only sending testing. They don't know that God is loving, God is kind. They've never experienced that side of him, because they have already have this perception of who he is. And so I pray that their eyes and their understanding will be enlightened, so that they will know who God is. They will know love. They will know peace, because the truth is they don't have peace of who God really is. Amen.